JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script. Big Show and Ryback, Strowman and Roman. Get off my fucking TV and save me the misery. And all you fucking goons, just grab a cold beer. The man of the hour is finally here. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. This is a special part number 4 of episode 129 of the number 1 fucking podcast in your subscription boxes. Right here on YouTube.com. This is Off The Script, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me on your Monday mornings. I know it's probably bizarre to see Off The Script in your sub boxes on Monday morning, but I have more news for you guys on Monday, and I want to get it across to each and every one of you. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I got news on Dolph Ziggler possibly turning heel at Summerslam. News on WWE interested in Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So I got news on that. We got news on the breaking story of Shelton Benjamin not coming to the WWE. So we'll talk about that plus so much more on this episode of Off The Script. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. We got a lot of stuff to get into quickly. I want to run over a few things with you. Number 1, I did do match number 2 in the tournament for my King of the Ring Road to WWE 2K17. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. Match number 2 in round number 1. We had Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura already, with Finn Balor advancing. If you guys want to check that out, I'm going to leave you a video link in the description. Make sure you guys go check that out. It was uploaded around 9 o'clock last night. I want you guys to go check it out. Leave me some thoughts. I really put a lot of work into it. I'm having a fucking blast doing it. And we're going to crown a new King of the Ring, man, before WWE 2K17 comes out. And the winner of this is going to play an important role in my universe mode. It's all leading to something. I will fill you guys in on all of that as soon as WWE 2K17 becomes available, man. So make sure you guys go check that out. Show it some love. I'll leave you a link in the description and a video annotation on the screen for you guys for those 2 videos. So make sure you guys go check them out. The recent one being Reigns versus Styles. Also, Pro Wrestling Tees, 1 Hour Tees. We are an official partner of Barber Shop Window. If you guys want to get your merchandise for this very podcast and my YouTube channel, barbershopwindow.com. Link is in the description. It'll take you right to my online store. We have the Eva Marie t-shirt coming out very, very soon. Hopefully this week. I will let you guys know about that on my Twitter. They do ship all over the world internationally, $19.99, so no matter where you are, you can definitely get your own t-shirt, man. Roman Reigns, Get Off My TV, Big Show. You got the 4 Goons, Get Off My TV t-shirt, the Goon City t-shirt, and the Off The Script gray logo shirt, all available $19.99, ship worldwide. Follow me on Twitter, at JD206. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Patreon.com if you guys want to pledge to the channel, to the cause. For my time here on YouTube, please go and read the mission statement. Very heartfelt, very open and honest about why I'm doing this and why I started my YouTube channel. Patreon.com/JD206. My friends over at WrestleCrate, WrestleCrate.com, and on Twitter at WrestleCrates, the number 1 pro wrestling-based subscription service delivered to your front door. Use the coupon code JDSENTME for an instant 10% off your first purchase. That's WrestleCrate.com. And finally, guys, the iTunes podcast went live with Off The Script episode number 24 on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Audio Boom, Google Play Music. That is now live, so make sure you guys go check that out. If you're on Apple devices, please, on iTunes, leave a 5-star rating. Greatly helps out the podcast. If you guys are on Podbean, follow me on Podbean. You'll automatically get a notification delivered to any one of your devices that I have a new show live, and you guys can take me and Off the Script wherever you want during your days, man. So go check that out. Episode number 24 is now live via all platforms mentioned. Thank you guys so much for that. Let's talk about the biggest story of the weekend, apparently, because everybody literally blew up my Twitter, and that is Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin injured and is not making a WWE return. It is, in fact, delayed. It was recently reported that former WWE superstar Shelton Benjamin would be making his return to the company and to be a member of the SmackDown Live brand. The company aired a promo during Week 1 of SmackDown Live in the new era, hyping his return for the debut episode of SmackDown Live. However, it would appear that a situation has occurred that will now keep this from happening. The Gold Standard sent out the following tweets this morning saying that serious shoulder surgery will prevent his WWE return. And I quote, this is from Shelton Benjamin's Twitter, "I am both disappointed and saddened to announce that due to a serious injury to my shoulder, I will not be returning to WWE at this time. For now, I will have to go, or I will have to put my pro wrestling career to the side as I prepare to undergo surgery to repair a torn rotator cuff. This comes as a shock to me as I am no stranger to performing while in pain, yet I had no idea of the severity of my condition. Thank you, WWE, for helping me discover this situation and for giving me an opportunity to return. I will be back. For now, I must focus all my energy on repairing my body and my mind." End quote. Benjamin competed with the WWE from 2003 to 2010 and amassed quite a career during his time. He is a former 2-time WWE Tag Team Champion, 1-time United States Champion, and a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. He has also held titles and championships all around the world. This is a absolutely terrible blow to the WWE, and everybody was anticipating his return to the company. Such an unfortunate thing for Shelton Benjamin and the WWE. He actually failed his physical. He failed his physical. WWE found out that he has a torn rotator cuff. He's been wrestling with this injury for God knows how long. He didn't know what was going on, and he fought through the pain. He didn't know how severe it was. So now that WWE has found this injury, who the fuck knows how long he's been wrestling with this injury? Who knows how far deep in this injury he really is and how long it's going to take him to recover? So the only thing that we should be concerned with right now is that we're lucky that we found it now, because if he debuted and then he got hurt, it would have been terrible. I'm glad he's getting his body repaired now. Shelton Benjamin is worth another 6 to 7 months to the SmackDown brand, to wait to come to SmackDown. Now, I understand the need for Shelton Benjamin. I understand the excitement for Shelton Benjamin. It would have been massive. He would have been a great addition to the mid-card, the main event. Shelton Benjamin obviously is one of the most underutilized and underappreciated talents that the WWE has ever had. I don't think Shelton Benjamin ever reached that ceiling in the WWE, or I should say, let me rephrase that. I don't think the WWE allowed Shelton Benjamin to even come close to the glass ceiling. Shelton Benjamin, in my eyes, could have been a main event player for SmackDown Live, especially with the way that roster is right now. Benjamin could have easily been a WWE champion on that brand, no question. And the amount of veteran presence he would have brought to the talent, he would have bestowed that upon the younger guys. He would have put young talent over. We would have got great matches out of Shelton Benjamin. It is an unfortunate blow to WWE and SmackDown and Benjamin that this has to happen now. But we're lucky that this was found now. And it wasn't found 1 week after his debut or 2 weeks after his debut. He could have made this injury worse. And God knows how bad the injury is now. A torn rotator cuff, he's obviously going to be out for the rest of the year. He's going to be out the remainder of 2016. We can only hope that come 2017, WWE gives him another shot to come back to SmackDown. I would assume so. I don't see why WWE would not want Shelton Benjamin. Obviously, Benjamin wants to be back. So, the main thing right now is getting healthy. And hopefully this does not keep Benjamin away from the WWE. Hopefully they don't have any reservations about signing him or bringing him in after rehabilitation and a successful surgery. I hope it's quick. I hope he gets back to 100% full health. And I hope we see him on SmackDown Live because he can certainly bring a great presence to SmackDown in a variety of ways. Shelton Benjamin not making a WWE return in 2016. Failed his WWE physical. Blown rotator cuff. Going to be out all of 2016 and into early 2017. What a terrible situation, not only for Shelton Benjamin, but for the WWE. There's a story going around, and I said it on my iTunes podcast. I would not talk about it on here because I know how fucking salty UFC elitists are, and I'm going to talk about it anyway because it's a big enough story. Conor McGregor blasts WWE on a social media conference call, calling WWE superstars, and I quote, pussies. Okay. Whatever reason he said this, I don't know. He must be out of his fucking mind. I know why he did it. I don't know if you guys understand why he did it. Some people just enjoy the drama. Some people enjoy the fucking bullshit that comes out of guys like McGregor's mouth. I understand why he did it. And we're going to go over exactly what was being said and how the WWE locker room actually took to these responses that he called everybody in the WWE pussies. So let's find out what happened here. UFC fighter Conor McGregor is currently scheduled to face Nate Diaz, upcoming at UFC 202 on Saturday, August 20th, in a much-anticipated rematch from their bout at UFC 196. That entire weekend is going to be fucking stacked with UFC and WWE. You got UFC 202, you got NXT TakeOver back to Brooklyn, SummerSlam, Monday Night Raw. Man, it's going to be a big fucking weekend that weekend. Unbelievable. However, McGregor decided to make his feelings known about WWE and its superstars in a media call to TMZ Sports on Friday, August 5th. During the call, McGregor was asked about the rumors that he was heading to the WWE. There were no rumors. McGregor's not heading to the WWE. He is a contracted fighter to Dana White and UFC. So why this was even brought up, I don't know. Again, people love speculation and they love fucking starting drama. According to MMAJunkie.com, he had the following to say about the subject, as well as his thoughts on Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. I have thought about it, McGregor said, about coming to the WWE. For the most part, I think these guys are pussies. To be honest, they're messed up pussies, if you ask me. Fair play to Brock Lesnar. He got in and fought, but at the end of the day, he was juiced up to the fucking eyeballs. How can I respect that? That other guy, CM Punk, hasn't fought yet, so I don't know about him yet. Later in the call, he mentions Vince McMahon, Triple H, and The Rock. There's some dons in the wrestling game, McGregor said. The McMahons are dons. Triple H is a don. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is a don. But the rest of them are pussies. I haven't thought about that, to be honest. It's a little more show business, and this is the fight business. Then obviously McGregor slightly retracts his statement and makes something public that he didn't mean any disrespect. So he took to his Twitter, clarifying his comments. I didn't mean any disrespect to WWE fans. What I meant to say was that I'd slap the head off your entire roster and twice on Sundays. So obviously this did not sit well with everybody in the WWE. You had everybody from Roman Reigns to Curtis Axel say something about what Conor McGregor said. Roman Reigns says, "You're the size of my leg." Shut up. And he misspelled your. Y-O-U-R. I'm guessing that drug violation got to Roman Reigns' head, and he doesn't know his grammar. So I don't know about that, but moving on, Sasha Banks says, "Bring it." MVP states, "The way Nate Diaz Stockton slapped you, or nah." MVP for you. Kurt Angle says, "Very funny little guy. Why don't you get your head out of Dana White's ass?" says Kurt Angle. Rusev says, "So much talk for a guy who fights 15-minute matches twice a year. Good for you, Conor McGyver." Chris Jericho says, "Sorry, pal, no disrespect to you, but my fights are legit. Unlike the fixed fights you have in UFC, I'll embarrass you." I like that Chris Jericho said fixed fights. Ooh, quite the stir there. Ric Flair, coming from a guy who built a career copying my persona, I expect that type of class we get from Ronda Rousey or Anderson. Baron Corbin says, I beg to differ, kid. And Baron Corbin is a Golden Glove champion, so that would be very interesting to see. Baron Corbin could probably legit kick the shit out of anybody. He could probably kill anybody he wants. He could literally kill with his fist. His fists are lethal weapons, Baron Corbin. AJ Styles, I think McGregor could do well in the featherweight division if WWE had one. Sheamus, never show a Jack Russell a mirror. It thinks it's a majestic Irish wolfhound. Really, just an annoying wee yapper trying to sell tickets. Sheamus hit the nail right on the head. Kofi Kingston says, yikes! Looks like Conor McGregor could really use a bowl of bootios right now. Someone hook him up. Big E says, would you prefer to find us individually or have us all line up at once? I know your time is valuable, sir. Bubba Ray Dudley, I would pay good money to see @Real Kurt Angle stretch the piss out of the Notorious MMA and make him tap. It's true. Hashtag. And Curtis Axel finally says, the Notorious MMA on Twitter. Cool name, by the way. You think you could slap my head off? Come try me. I'd mop your sorry ass. Jonathan Coachman even rang in on the situation. Remember what I always say, smart dudes know what is good for business. Hashtag Clash the Keel at the Notorious MMA. So obviously, McGregor clearly is looking for attention. He is looking to generate hype for his fight. I would not read too much into this. This is classic UFC borrowing a WWE tactic. They're trying to generate hype. They're trying to cut a heel-like promo. Why they're going to pick on the WWE superstars is beyond me. I guess to them, they're easy targets, but I think the WWE is a prime target nowadays because of what is happening with Brock Lesnar and his failed drug test, being that he was just in the UFC for his fight against Mark Hunt. So I think that's still ringing in people's minds. I know a lot of the people in WWE are under the impression that WWE is being very lenient with Brock Lesnar. They want him suspended. They want him to have some justice brought to him. And the people in UFC, the fighters in UFC, obviously feel like they were cheated. You know, Mark Hunt feels like he was cheated out of a purse and making more money than he could have because Lesnar, he felt like Lesnar cheated. And everybody wants to see Lesnar get what he deserves. And yes, there should be some type of punishment, but I don't think, like I said, when we discussed Randy Orton's situation, Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar, I don't think Lesnar deserves to be punished in the way of him to lose a match to Randy Orton. I don't want to see that happen. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible business decision. So Randy Orton, a loss to Brock Lesnar is not going to do anything because any man walking the face of the earth is going to lose to Brock Lesnar. There's no question about that. And it's not going to damage Randy Orton's identity or character or whatever the fuck he's got going on. Lesnar needs to win. The only ones that should be beating a Brock Lesnar is someone who's on the up and up. You need to create a new superstar. Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens. Guys like that. That's the type of rub you need to give those guys. Not a Randy Orton. Randy Orton's had plenty of rubs. Beating a Brock Lesnar will do nothing for Randy Orton. It's going to be a slap in the face of everything you've fucking done to invest your time into Brock Lesnar. So I know that's ringing in the back of people's minds. Everybody is still visibly upset about what Brock Lesnar did while in the UFC. He got nailed and he failed his drug testing. But Conor McGregor simply is trying to sell tickets and generate buzz and hype for his match with Nate Diaz at UFC 202. I would not look into this any further. That's exactly what it is. I don't think he has any ill will towards anybody in the WWE. Otherwise, Conor McGregor is a fucking retard because the guys and the ladies and men in WWE travel 300 days per year, put their bodies and lives at risk every single fucking day. They're away from their families. So for him to come out and say that they are pussies is nothing but a fucking bullshit tactic. I know why he's doing it, but at least in the back of your mind, have some fucking respect for what these guys are doing and where they are and the fact that they're away from their families and they're fucking risking injury every single night they go out there. Come on, man. I understand what you're trying to do, but never call anyone in a competitive environment pussies, please. I understand why you did it, but these guys put their lives and their fucking careers on the line every single day. Mistakes are likely to happen at the drop of a fucking dime. You don't come out and outwardly say anybody in a combat sport, in a physical environment, a competitive sport, is a pussy. Give me a break. Yes, you can sell your tickets, you can cut your heel-like promos. He's going into business for himself. That's all it is. Don't look into it anymore. He just got to be wiser with his words. Simple. Conor McGregor calling WWE superstars pussies for the sake of selling tickets for UFC 202. Instead of calling WWE superstars pussies, why don't you concentrate on Nate Diaz? That's all you got to do. Aim your fucking heel-like promos and heel-like tactics at Nate Diaz next time. That's all you got to do. So that's what I think about the Conor McGregor situation there, calling WWE superstars pussies. So that's that. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I felt like I had to. And I know you guys wanted my opinion on it because you've been asking me all fucking weekend. WWE officials said to be heavily pursuing Kenny Omega. Oh my God, man. If there's one person in the indies I want in NXT, it is Kenny Omega. This past year, the WWE managed to go after and bring in 4 of the top New Japan Pro Wrestling stars in AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Shinsuke Nakamura. All 4 were at the top of their game after being involved with the promotion for quite some time. AJ has been there the shortest amount of time, but his impact was tremendous. He was the first of the group to debut with the WWE, but he surely wasn't the only to make an impression, as the 3 others have done very well for themselves as well. Interestingly, another name was targeted by WWE as well. While we all know WWE went after the other guys, we also found out that Kenny Omega was targeted by WWE in 2015. It was reported that Omega turned down 3 offers by WWE. It was said in the same report that Omega claimed he turned them down because he wanted to face his former tag team partner Kota Ibushi when the Japanese star came back from injury. Weirdly enough, Ibushi decided to leave both New Japan and DDT Wrestling when he returned. While he did work with them a bit more before departing, he officially became a free agent earlier this year, which freed him up to join WWE's Cruiserweight Classic. With the new Cruiserweight division, WWE needed to bring in guys like Ibushi after the tournament concluded, and it is being reported that Ibushi has signed a deal. Some believe this may be the catalyst to bringing in Kenny Omega to the WWE. In addition to that, it seems like WWE is confident they can sign him in 2017, according to DailyWrestlingNews.com. WWE is reportedly very high on the man known as the Cleaner and would like to bring him in whenever possible. This is said to be a Triple H move, which means he is higher on Omega than almost anyone else and would probably be the one to talk him into coming into the WWE when he becomes available. New Japan Pro Wrestling has a strict policy with their contracts that do not permit talent to talk to other promotions while under contract. The way WWE was able to sign the others, and at least no of the interest, was through people they had with the company that were not under any sort of deal. Usually this would be a friend of the talent or someone not under contract who works with the company. New Japan apparently knows of WWE's interest in bringing in Kenny Omega and are reportedly quite concerned that they may lose Omega sometime in 2017. This could also mean more for New Japan as well. The Young Bucks as well as Adam Cole all become available in 2017. The Bullet Club members would be able to sign back on with Ring of Honor and or New Japan Pro Wrestling for sure and may get a raise in order to stay. However, most theorize that WWE could force another mass exodus from Japan when they take Omega. Omega leaving could convince the Young Bucks to leave as well, and Adam Cole may follow because of his interest in WWE. The company has reportedly been high on the Bucks and Cole for quite some time. The Bucks have been close to signing with the WWE, only to stay away. Meanwhile, Cole has been in a similar boat at times. It felt like he had more to do on the independent scene before going to WWE. If WWE can manage to sway Kenny Omega into leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, this could be huge for the WWE. But it could change a lot of things for New Japan. Even if WWE can just manage to get Omega, this is still a major get for the WWE. The Canadian-born grappler is a former PWG heavyweight champion as well as a former 2-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion and IWGP Intercontinental Champion. He has also worked in tag teams successfully, whether normal tag teams or 6-man, and won gold in both categories. That said, a Kenny Omega signing would be terrific business for the WWE. They just hope they don't get turned down 3 times again. unfucking believable story here. And I am not going to comment really too much in depth on this. I just want to get this news out there to you guys because I know a lot of you are into the New Japan Pro Wrestling aspect, and I know you guys watch Ring of Honor. But with Triple H leading NXT, this should have been assumed anyway. With BALOR and NAKAMURA and Joe and Bayley eventually making their way. I know the other ones that I mentioned, minus BALOR, are probably going to be on the main roster in 2017. You cannot contain these beasts in NXT for too long. Everybody belongs on the main roster. They're in NXT simply because they have to learn the way of the WWE product. They have to learn the WWE way. Kenny Omega coming into NXT would be absolutely massive. It would probably be as big as Shinsuke Nakamura coming into NXT. And if there's one man in the independents I want, it's Kenny Omega, because I love the way he carries himself. I love the way he speaks. I love the way he conducts business in the ring. And I love the character that he portrays on television. Okay? I don't know too much of Kenny Omega. I don't watch New Japan. But from what I've seen of New Japan, Kenny Omega is obviously the one person I would want out of anybody. Now, if Omega comes to the WWE, this brings in the Young Bucks, this brings in Adam Cole, and then obviously WWE is going to set themselves up for success with the next round of independent stars to take NXT again to that level that they once were in 2015. With the exodus of a Joe and a Nakamura and a BALOR and a Bayley, WWE needs to set themselves up for success for the future of the brand that is NXT. And with that, obviously, you're going to have to spend money. You spend money, you bring in the talent, you make your brand and your company the best it could possibly be. NXT will not be what it needs to be if they don't go out and spend money. And I said it and I say it all the time. NXT is the one place everybody wants to be. You got the Performance Center. The WWE is doing everything right when it comes to NXT. And the fact that Kenny Omega has done literally everything in New Japan, that the Young Bucks have literally done everything possible on the independent scene, their next step, and I know for a fact they all want to go into NXT, they all want to break into the WWE. Why wouldn't they? They're going to tell you exactly, listen, I got shit to handle, there's things I want to do in the independents, and so be it. I don't blame them for that. They want to accomplish what they want in the independents. They want to win championships. They want to get their name out there. They want to continue building their brand so that when they do negotiate with the WWE, they in turn can be asking for more money. That's the reason why Kenny Omega is staying with New Japan. You think Kenny Omega doesn't think WWE wants him? He's going to make his star brighter in New Japan, so when the time comes for when he is ready to sign with NXT, he's going to sit down with Triple H and offer what he thinks he should be making. And the contract negotiations are going to be there. He wants more money. Everybody that's in this obviously loves what they're doing, but they got to be paid as well. Same thing with the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are one of the most decorated tag teams in all the independent scene. They've literally done everything. You think when they're ready to come to the WWE, they're going to have an asking price. Triple H is going to sit down with all these guys, and he's going to pay them whatever the fuck they want because of what they have done in the independents and what they have accomplished. Omega, Cole, and the Young Bucks coming into WWE, NXT, 2017 may be the best year ever if WWE and NXT gets all these guys to come into the company. I'm fucking excited, man. I'm thrilled at this news. Unbelievable report. Kenny Omega, again, being pursued by WWE. His contract is up in 2017. Do not be surprised that when the time comes, Kenny Omega is in NXT, man. I can't wait. That is big fucking news right there. Backstage news on WWE establishing tag team titles for SmackDown. WWE is about to enter the third week of programming since the draft and the brand extension. Raw is off to a killer start with Sasha Banks becoming the new WWE Women's Champion and Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins set for the WWE Universal Championship at SummerSlam. SmackDown has also gotten off to a strong start, minus week 1. For example, Dolph Ziggler reestablished himself as a main event player on the roster and will be challenging Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. This could lead to a very interesting heel turn for Dolph Ziggler, but Raw is far superior to SmackDown right now when it comes to the championship gold. it was being reported recently that SmackDown wouldn't be establishing any new titles until after WWE Summerslam because WWE officials didn't want to overload the card with vacant title matches and force the brand to establish their championships so quickly, or else they could be seen as unimportant. However, there is some news about Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon bringing more titles to SmackDown very soon. According to a report from DailyWrestlingNews.com, WWE plans, well, at least they have plans in place to introduce a new Women's Championship and a new set of Tag Team Championships for SmackDown very shortly after SummerSlam. In fact, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon may debut the new titles as early as Tuesday after SummerSlam, live from Connecticut. While the other titles are expected to be introduced on that night, it's possible that SmackDown's new champions won't be crowned until Backlash in September. WWE officials were hesitant to bring new titles into SmackDown because those plans were planned and then nixed very recently. As of this report, WWE officials have changed their minds. One of the biggest reasons for establishing the tag team titles for SmackDown and bringing back a former WWE superstar who were former tag team champions, is that it would do wonders for the brand's roster depth and tag team division. There are many different ways that WWE could book the new tag team titles on SmackDown, but the question is which team will become the first to hold the gold for the brand. It'll be important to establish SmackDown's tag team division, but any title WWE establishes on SmackDown is going to need immediate prestige. And there is one team that is favored to do just that. American Alpha only just debuted on SmackDown, but they got an excellent track record following them from NXT, which has already established them as the top team for the brand in only a few weeks. Chad Gable and Jason Jordan only held the NXT Tag Team titles for a short period before losing them because WWE officials decided to call them up to the main roster. The logic was probably that Gable and Jordan were more used to WWE as SmackDown's Tag Team champions rather than NXT's because it was already a foregone conclusion that American Alpha would be a top team for WWE. So why wait any longer? The fact is, in a matter of weeks, it is extremely likely that Finn Balor could be the Universal Champion. Sasha Banks is the WWE Women's Champion. And the WWE Tag Team Champions will either be The New Day or Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. SmackDown needs to deliver something big to contend with Raw star power, so establishing American Alpha as the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions is a good start to give the brand something new that can only be seen on SmackDown. I am obviously 100% in agreement here. American Alpha, without question, is going to be the team leading the charge on SmackDown. But like we said already, WWE needs to establish more teams in that division. At least another set of teams, another one or two teams at least. 2, 3, to get SmackDown right as far as the tag team division goes. Because right now they got American Alpha, they got the Vaudevillains, they got the Ascension, they got the Hype Bros. And the Usos are out with injury. So that's 4 teams. You need more than 4 teams to establish a tag team division. And I know people are saying, oh, JD, NXT has 4 teams, man. Yeah, but NXT is a 1-hour fucking program once a week. SmackDown has 2 hours to fill. Okay? And then pay-per-views. Pay-per-views, exclusive pay-per-views, they're going to be happening every other month. You need teams in line to challenge for the tag team championships. If you make American Alpha tag team champions, and I'm talking about the teams we have now, how many teams do they have lined up to challenge? They got, oh, well, Breezango's there as well. You could use Breezango, the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, you got the Hype Bros. Those teams really aren't established. They're not popular. They don't have any momentum underneath them. WWE needs to start thinking about its tag team division. Big time. And you need to go out and bring in another couple of teams to bolster this division. Because the way it is right now, introducing new tag team champions should be on the last line of your fucking list of things to do. I understand they're going to do it anyway. I understand it needs to be done. You need something for the teams to fight for, but with the amount of teams they have there now, it's not called a division. There's no way that it can be called a division. You need more teams to make it promising, to make it a division. And 4 teams is not going to get it done. So hopefully WWE has a plan in place to bring in more teams to challenge American Alpha and keep the competitive nature of that division high. Because the way it is right now, not going to be done. And that was my main concern going into the draft. Adding more titles and splitting the fucking rosters and splitting the teams. Right now, you see the problems that are arising. WWE needs to go out there and bring in teams to make it a division. Same thing with the women. Same thing with the women. And finally, guys, we are going to end here Dolph Ziggler turning heel at SummerSlam. Possibly. WWE Universe can obviously be fickle sometimes. For years, many people within WWE argue that Ziggler was underrated, and he deserves so much better on WWE programming. Of course, there have been wasted opportunities and some misfires, but Ziggler has had a great career in WWE regardless. Almost immediately after the WWE draft and brand extension, WWE officials answered those fans by proving that the new era of WWE will be one without glass ceilings when they booked Ziggler to face Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. However, some people are still to be very unhappy. Dolph posted the following last week about the backlash on him getting a WWE title shot, saying that, people once wanted to see me get the spot that I'm in now, and now that I have it, people hate me, So, the WWE fans are questioning if Dolph Ziggler has a realistic shot at defeating Dean Ambrose to become the new WWE champion at SummerSlam. That's understandable considering that WWE is more likely to continue pushing Ambrose as SmackDown's champion. According to Cage Side Seats, history and logic are against the show-off. But there could be other plans for Ziggler after SummerSlam. The feud with Ambrose and the second chance for Dolph are bringing back the passion to his character that hasn't been there for quite some time. There is also the possibility of Ziggler bringing back the anger and becoming heel again on WWE programming. According to a detailed report from Ringside News, former WWE superstar and ECW legend Taz spoke on his podcast about Dolph Ziggler and the potential for him on SmackDown after WWE's brand extension. He had a lot of ideas, but the main one was for WWE to turn Ziggler heel at SummerSlam. Taz pointed out that SmackDown's roster is lacking heels with big-time star power. AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt carry the load there, but Raw has Seth Rollins, who is a bona fide superstar for WWE. Taz feels that turning Dolph Ziggler heel would be a good thing for him and the SmackDown brand. Dolph Ziggler has been a face on WWE programming for 3 years now. A heel turn could be a good idea to make his character fresh again, especially if he were to lose the match with Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam. Ziggler's strongest character trait is stealing the show, but he's tired of doing that without the taste of victory, WWE gold, and fame that comes along with winning. A heel turn would fit into that very well. Taz may be onto something because Ziggler's desire to win already has him doing some questionable things based on this week's edition of SmackDown. Bray Wyatt challenged him to put his chance at the WWE title on the line against him in the main event, which Ziggler accepted to prove himself to his doubters. Although Ziggler won the match against Wyatt, he did so by utilizing the exposed turnbuckle, which is a questionable way to face, or for a face to win, and could be considered more of a heel tactic. Those kinds of actions could lead to Dolph Ziggler turning heel that may give him the edge he needs to prove WWE officials wrong. Recently, it was reported that WWE officials never truly believed in Dolph Ziggler as a top WWE superstar because he's not someone they can rely on to become the guy for the company. The WWE draft and brand extension will give him more opportunities, but there is a huge difference between challenging for the WWE title and having a realistic chance of winning it at the second biggest show of the year. WWE has given Dolph Ziggler another chance to succeed at SummerSlam. It's not out of the realm of possibility for him to walk out as heel or the WWE champion, but this could be the last chance Ziggler gets to grab the brass ring, or he could be remembered as the wrestler who was that damn good, but just not good enough. All I'm going to say is that I agree with Taz 100%. Ziggler's been heel for 3 years. Okay? He was great as a heel. Oh, he's been face for 3 years. I'm sorry. Turning him heel would freshen up his character and pretty much portray the Dolph Ziggler that we all really enjoyed anyway. When he was a heel with Vicky Guerrero, his attitude, his mentality, his fucking charisma, it was all there. We all enjoyed Ziggler, seeing him successful and, seeing him on television and everybody wanting him to succeed because he was so great at what he did. As soon as he turned face, everything kind of took a back seat. Ziggler was getting played out. He was getting boring. He was getting stale. He turned into a fucking miniature Shawn Michaels with the fucking, with the get-up, People said that he's nothing but a fucking cosplay of Shawn Michaels. 1 week he's coming out as Shawn Michaels, the next week he's coming out dressed like Motley Crue. He had an identity crisis. We didn't know what the fuck Dolph Ziggler was doing. All I want to see is what we seen on Tuesday with Dolph Ziggler. He thinks he's the best. Obviously, he can back that up in the ring. No question. Prove to me why you're the best. And when shit happens, like it did on SmackDown, get in people's faces. I want to see that intensity. I want to see you take the fucking chances and the risk to win a match any way that you can. That is what made Dolph Ziggler appealing in the first place. Ziggler definitely needs a heel turn to freshen up his character. I'm tired of Ziggler as a face, and the fact that SmackDown really doesn't have any heels, big-time heels. I think adding Ziggler to that mix would certainly bolster the heel roster of SmackDown for sure. So Ziggler possibly turning heel at SummerSlam. I would love for Ziggler to take some cheap shots at Dean Ambrose. I would love for him to go into the last 2 weeks of SmackDown build towards SummerSlam, pulling out all the stops, scratching, clawing, doing whatever it takes to win the WWE Championship, because that's what it's going to take. Show me you want it. Show me you want it. This is the WWE Championship we're talking about. This is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. This is the biggest match of your career. Do what you got to do to win the title. If it means exposing a turnbuckle, if it means taking a cheap tactic and using that to win, fine. Show me. Use those heel tactics. Ziggler and that type of mentality for Ziggler will work great. I hope WWE goes through with this. Ziggler much better as a heel than as a babyface. And that is all I got, guys. Part 4 of Off the Script. Thank you so much for watching. I'm JD. I'll be back tonight with Monday Night Raw review. So make sure you guys check that out later on this evening. Check out the King of the Ring 2 matches I posted for WWE 2K16 as we are on the road to 2K17. Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns with my commentary over the epic action, man. Check those guys out. Check those 2 things out. And I'll be back tonight, man, with more WWE content for Monday Night Raw review. Hope you guys have a great Monday. I'm JD. Hit that thumbs up. Check the description for everything you need about my channel. And I'll see you guys tonight for Monday Night Raw review. I'll talk to you later.